What's going on, internet? Robert Teagarden back again with another episode. We've all had it. We do the work, we edit our pieces together, we've got some dope bomb slamming music that you hear in the club. Honestly, I have no idea where that came from, and I apologize because I was totally out of character. So now back to regular Teagarden. We've got some great music underneath our video. We upload it to YouTube, and 2 seconds later, after we publish, we get an email in our inbox from YouTube that says, you have violated someone's copyright. Everyone kind of panics, and I often get asked the question, did I do something wrong? How do I get videos without copyrighted music? I don't want to take anyone's creative endeavors. Please, to help me, I don't know what I'm doing. Please, I'm so scared. Please, People that have watched this channel for a long time know that I am both a musician and a professor. And one of the classes that I teach is copyright publishing and licensing in some capacity. So I have some authority to talk about this particular subject, and we're going to discuss how this happens, and then I'm going to give you some viable options so that you don't have to be plagued by this relatively insignificant email. Let's just be honest, okay? How this is happening is this. Every time you make a recording as a musician, as an artist, what's happening is that the digital representation of that comes across as a bunch of binary code. That's right. That waveform that you see in your Logic or Pro Tools session is just a bunch of ones and zeros dancing around in a certain number and a certain order that creates the sound that gets pushed out the speakers. The speakers move the air, our ears interpret that air and sound waves, and we get swirled around in our brain and we hear music. But all it is just a representation of ones and zeros. As such, that representation is a unique identifier. It's like a thumbprint, if you will, or a fingerprint if you have more than just a thumb. That thumbprint is something that can get tagged and can get analyzed by computers. Have you ever used the program Shazam, or have you ever used Siri? Please don't turn on. And asked them what type of a song this is or who sings that song? The way that that program works is that it's analyzing those ones and zeros to come up with an exact match, and the content owner and creator of that master recording then reports back to Shazam or to Siri and says, this is our recording, and you then get to know who the artist and the songwriters and all of the special things that you get when you Shazam something on your phone. So all of that fingerprint analysis, waveform analysis technology is embedded in a system that YouTube created and owns called Content ID. And what happens is when you put a video up on YouTube, part of the processing scrubbing when you're uploading that you see, that processing is looking for recognizable music that is embedded in the Content ID database. The database is filled with songs that it has analyzed and has come up with waveform analysis for, that it can say if you give it a certain number of seconds, boom, that is Robert Teagarden's I Love You, and the publishing company is this, and so we're routing all of the monetization for this particular video, should there be any, to Robert Teagarden and his publishing company and the master owner of that particular song. So that's what's happening. Waveform analysis is being used by YouTube's Content ID system. Once it has made an exact match between the music on your video and what it has in its database system, you get that email, the monetization goes to the content owner and the content creator, and they get paid because of a license that they signed with YouTube. Problem solved. Now, if you read a little bit further down that email, you realize that you're really not in trouble because you didn't know and you don't have a platform that's necessarily going to get you in trouble. You could go to the content owner, the content creator in that instance, which is either the artist themselves or more likely their record company and their music publisher. You could request a license from both, and if you got that license, you could go back and fight the Content ID claim, get the monetization for that particular song, and you would be good to go to earn some income off of that particular video. However, if you don't even want to deal with this situation in the first place, we've got a couple places that you can go, and I'll show you some techniques that I use so that I don't have to bother with that particular scenario. One of the main options that I use and you might be familiar with is a company called Epidemic Sound. They offer a subscription for YouTubers that's somewhere between $15 to $19 a month, and that you can use their entire catalog for that amount of money without any Content ID notifications and restrictions. That means you can use anything within their catalog of pretty amazing music, and you can throw it on your video, upload it to YouTube, and as long as you're paying that subscription fee, you will not get hit with the Content ID notification. Epidemic Sound is a really great database. It has a lot of great up-to-date music. It sounds good, the production value is high, it's got good pacing, and you can categorically scrub through their library to find things that are high energy, or this BPM, or have this particular mood, or would be great for drone videos. It's a great, easy-to-use interface that allows you to search thousands of songs and be able to upload them with ease and no Content ID verification emails. Epidemic Sound is technically what's known as a music library or a music production library. There are tons of them around if you want to do a quick Google. Pond 5 is another one. Marmoset Music is another one. Not only do these companies exist for YouTube, but they started to exist because of TV and film productions where they didn't want to pay big budget releases from major artists that we would know because they're playing on the radio, but we still wanted some new hip sounding music, but the production value is very high. So production music libraries were the solution to that problem, and they've existed for a long time. They just have now formulated these new out-facing scrubbable interfaces and GUIs that we can use for things like YouTube. It's fantastic. Now, another option I use on a regular basis is SoundCloud. Now, SoundCloud is great for a number of reasons. One of them is because it offers a tremendous amount of high quality production from a bunch of different artists. But a lot of the times those artists aren't necessarily well known per se. They're either hobbyist musicians or they're musicians on the rise. And the other amazing thing about SoundCloud is the community that is built around it. I can't tell you how many times I've written to a musician and say, hey man, I really love your stuff. I've got a YouTube channel. I would love it if you would allow me to feature your music. I would give your channel credit. Is that okay? And them granting that permission because they're the content owner counts as some form of a license. Most of the time, people say that they would love for me to use their stuff, please just provide credit, and I'm good to go. So that has been a wealth of music for me, really high quality, awesome sounding music that I've been able to use on a very regular basis. So those are the two main options that I use, guys, to get rid of that copyright violation email. It's production music libraries and paying a subscription fee for access to their catalog, and I comb through SoundCloud, I reach out to the creators, I ask permission. But that's exactly why that happens, guys. There's a bunch of ways that you can continue to have high quality music inside your productions. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you know anybody that might find this valuable, I would love it if you would share it with them. And if you haven't subscribed already, what the hell are you waiting for? This is Robert Teagarden. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.